Hello everyone, and welcome to a special webinar presentation brought to you by AlphaMD and Clinerion. My name is James Wang, and I am the Director of Product Development here at AlphaMD. Today, I will be joined by Randy Ramin Wright, Head of Quality Risk Management at Clinerion. We have some exciting news to share with you as we introduce you to AlphaMD and Clinerion's new joint venture in which we have joined forces to accelerate clinical trials by our collaborative, systematic risk management process. Everyone has a responsibility when it comes to managing risk, and it usually is a team effort that gets the best results. In line with this, our companies have decided to combine our expertise in the form of a partnership to provide risk management solutions. The collaborative partnership between AlphaMD and Clinerion was derived from synergies that were identified from both organizations with a common goal to provide the pharmaceutical industry with a cost-effective clinical trial risk management solution. Together, we were able to see the potential and the need to contribute to the effective management of risks that are associated with conducting a large number of complex clinical trials, but more importantly, the need to ensure the safety of human subjects and the integrity of the data being derived during a study. To understand what our solutions encompass, let's start by recapping a few industry events that has led us to our partnership. Over the past 2 decades, clinical studies have continued to grow in number, complexity, and cost. Due to this trend, the industry has continued to focus on the development of novel approaches to clinical monitoring. So how did we get to this point? Research had shown that nearly a third of the cost for any given study was invested into traditional on-site monitoring methods to verify 100% of source data. This is also well known as 100% SDV. Additionally, research has also indicated that 100% SDV is not proven to be an effective solution to reducing risks related to human subject safety and data integrity. In the summer of 2013, the FDA issued a guidance for industry on risk-based approaches to monitoring, or more commonly known as risk-based monitoring. So what does this all mean? Studies could now be designed in a way to conduct less on-site monitoring by incorporating centralized and targeted monitoring strategies and tactics in order to make up for the less than 100% verification of specific study data on site. It also meant that sponsors would be responsible for developing and designing monitoring strategies that ensured the same standard of protection of human subject safety and the data integrity. So how would they do this, you ask? The guidance outlined that sponsors would be responsible for identifying critical data and processes to be monitored, and that risk assessment methodologies should help guide that process. So what happened next? Sponsors, vendors, and combinations of the two began piloting projects and studies that would introduce risk-based monitoring strategies as part of a pilot study. The initial ramp-up included a major focus of risk management strategies ranging from technology-focused solutions to solutions that were people and process development-centric. In fact, the large sponsors were able to build teams, databases, and technologies from within, while others had to identify alternative methods through potential vendors, and the remaining majority would have to wait and see which approach would succeed, or more importantly, be the most cost-effective. It was evident that due to the lack of a standardized method for risk-based monitoring, an overwhelming amount of box-checking risk assessments were being conducted. Now this all leads up to the reason and common goal that AlphaMD and Clinerion share. Our partnership is based upon providing industry with an unparalleled clinical trial risk management solution. By utilizing AlphaMD's industry experts that specialize in engineering risk management solutions and leveraging Clinerion's delivery of their clinical quality risk management system and service solutions, our cross-functional team links the missing component of combining people, processes, and technology all under one roof. Our promise is to prove that performing generic out-of-the-box risk assessments is not a robust enough process to effectively plan for mitigating and controlling risks within your study. Although everyone's first thought is that a customized risk management strategy might be too expensive or too time-consuming, let us put those concerns at rest, as our experience and knowledge libraries have been built up, and that's what makes our systematic process both cost-effective and comprehensively robust. Our risk management technology platform utilizes engineering best practices and Six Sigma expertise that provides our clients with an evidence-based and defensible position for regulatory decision-making. Our process begins with our team taking a systematic approach specifically tailored to our clients to produce a strategic risk management strategy. By customizing a risk assessment specific to your study, our team is capable of identifying risks and integrating risk controls tailored to your study that can pinpoint to both fixed and variable risks that were identified by the risk assessment. Those findings are reviewed by a cross-functional team and then integrated into the centralized quality risk management system to be tested and then utilized for real-time study operational use. Here's a drill down of the ins and outs of our systematic process. We begin by conducting the clinical download where we review the study protocol and functional plans. This becomes the foundation of our risk assessment. Once the appropriate knowledge is captured, we can then map the existing processes. This includes all stakeholders, their responsibilities, and their actions, which is key to identifying risks and potential vulnerability. Our comprehensive and innovative risk assessment will pinpoint and identify potential risks and risk parameters. For example, who is responsible for the risk occurring? When can the risk actually occur? And what is the severity, frequency, and detectability of each risk? These are crucial to our next step in risk prioritization. Prioritizing risks based on the scope will then lead us to identifying and highlighting which risks are the most important to build risk controls and risk mitigation efforts around. Once risk control and mitigation efforts are in place, we can then map the optimal process and study operations. This information will be communicated across all the study functional plans. All of this will then lead us to the integration of risk controls and their specifications into the QRM system. The optimal processes and risk controls will be tested and then implemented for active real-time study monitoring. Our goal is to stay progressively proactive. Our proactive approach to risk identification and risk control do not end at the initial risk assessment. We conduct interim risk reviews and assessments to measure the effectiveness and efficiency of the initial risk assessment to continually adapt to the study's current environment. The quality risk management system periodically computes risk metrics, creates risk mitigation tasks, and generates trending reports that facilitate the tracking and control of risks and thereby promote continuous quality improvement of clinical trials. So how our CQI efforts are reusable for future studies. Our CQI efforts go beyond the study at hand, as risk assessment findings are used to inform future studies. The systematic approach has built-in processes to begin building a database of all the risks and risk controls that were identified and used. The database of risks and risk controls lead to a predictive analytics for future studies by categorizing risks and risk controls into common therapeutic areas, routes of administration, drug classes, and etc. And now I'd like to hand it off to Randy Ramin Wright, Head of Quality Risk Management at Clinerion.
Thank you, James. Now I'd like to highlight aspects of our technology solution that are beneficial to the conduct of clinical trials. And I will start by asking an important question. How does all this help with regards to business efficiency and process optimization? Well, the systematic risk management process that James described informs the quality risk management system and thereby enables sponsors to anticipate and proactively address potential issues before they become problematic. For example, this site risk dashboard provides an overview of risk exposure of all sites in a trial. It informs us that there are currently 10 high-risk sites that require attention from our limited resources. The site risk mitigation panel on the lower left tells us about the progress of the mitigation activities currently planned. And the site process risk panel on the lower right informs us about which particular risks are currently the most prevalent. Now let's consider cost savings. How does our approach help here? Cost savings will occur for CROs and ultimately for the sponsor by minimizing the on-site time needed for monitoring due to a targeted deployment of these costly assets. By proactively identifying the high-risk sites, resources can be allocated based on priority and deployed for maximum efficiency and effectiveness. This report from our quality risk management system tells us the risk level of the individual sites within the clinical trial, so that the trial team can focus on the sites with the highest risk level first. With the application of our approach and technology, time savings are also part of the benefits. Time savings occur in various areas, but two important efficiency improvements stem from A, minimizing IRB review time, and B, and even more importantly, by avoiding protocol amendments that delay and extend clinical trials. This is achieved by the system providing insight into which sites are exposed to what particular risks. This in turn generally indicates which issues are confronting the trial team at the site. This report directs the trial team to the particular risks identified at each site so that one can focus on those risks that threaten patient safety and data integrity of the clinical trial. At this point, I would like to hand over to James so that he can highlight aspects that differentiate us from our competitors and also make some concluding statements. Thank you.
So what makes us different? Our knowledge, experience, and expertise in quality risk management. We live and breathe off of it, trust me. Our versatile team of industry experts is made up of physicians, pharmacists, healthcare systems engineers, Six Sigma experts, and regulatory experts. It's this type of team, functionality, and perspective that is needed to fully identify the risks and to understand why they occur and how to best plan for them. Also, we're more than just a technology vendor or an industry consultant. Our unique partnership combines a systematic risk management process and cutting-edge technology solution to effectively identify, manage, and mitigate risks. Our offerings facilitates end-to-end risk management, starting from process assessment and risk identification to risk classification and risk mitigation. We provide risk assessment not only through individual key risk indicators, but we also use a holistic approach. This includes an overall site risk score, which can be broken down to the more structural issues as well as the procedural deficiencies at certain sites. It is also possible to focus on therapeutic areas such as oncology. We're also able to differentiate our risks, whether those risks start with operational risks or those most important risks to patient safety and data integrity. Finally, the quality risk management system configurability makes it a flexible and practical tool for our clients. A user-friendly interface makes it easy to use and navigate through with minimal training. What we do know is that the current landscape of clinical trials has changed significantly over the past 5 to 7 years in that more and more molecules are being tested within a shorter amount of time due to the evolving nature of the pharmaceutical industry. The number of new diagnoses is increasing exponentially, and the demand to help manage or cure disease is just as high. In addition, the need to manage costs and be more efficient with resources within the pharmaceutical and healthcare industries has become more prevalent. In order to help manage costs and resources, systematic risk assessments and quality risk management systems are the key drivers to achieving success. The financial and airline industries have utilized these techniques for many years, and now that it's time for the pharmaceutical and healthcare industries to follow suit. The quality risk management system that can be informed by systematic risk assessment allows for effective decision making throughout the product lifecycle, from inception to delivery. Our partnership and services provide a comprehensive solution to the current industry demand of performing clinical trials and getting a product to market in a faster, better, and cheaper fashion. I wanted to thank everyone today for watching our webinar presentation. If you have any questions about today's presentation or would like to know more about our strategic consulting service offerings, please feel free to contact one of us that is listed on this slide. Thank you all very much and have a great and wonderful day.